Welcome to Zalakaros, one of the most popular holiday destinations for us Hungarians when it comes to relaxing times. This place is super famous for their hot thermal waters, and we're gonna be spending a few days here in a all-inclusive hotel. So let's show you what it is like and what the experience is here in Hungary if you come to Zalakaros. Zalakaros is located in Zala County, just southwest of Lake Balaton, and from Budapest it takes about 2 hours by car or 2.5 hours by bus to get there. For this holiday we drove to Zalakaros, but later on in this video we'll explain the domestic bus system a bit more, but for now let's jump into our adventures at our hotel. Welcome to the Park Inn Hotel. Now we just took over this room and we're gonna talk about what the room is like at the end of this video and what a all-inclusive experience here is in this hotel. But first, let's look at the main attraction of Zalakaros, which is the thermal bath. Let's change. 1, 2, 3. Now let's go and relax in those hot thermal waters. Yay! One of the reasons why we chose this particular hotel is that we have direct access to the city's grand thermal bath. And also with the booking, we have it for free. Now, as you may know, Hungary is a thermal bath kingdom. We have so many famous thermal baths like Széchenyi, Gellért, and all the many thermal spa resort towns. And we talked more about thermal waters and the importance of thermal waters in a previous video. But first, here are a few important recaps if you haven't seen that. So first, it's important to talk about the different kinds of water you can encounter at these thermal baths, because one of them will be the so-called medicinal waters. These are the ones that are full of minerals that are said to have some health benefits for your body and for your soul as well. And some of the pools will just have a regular plain old water, but these are also warm because they are heated via geothermal energy. Now there are all sorts of different kinds of medicinal waters if you go to these thermal spas, and most of them will have different mineral content. That is why some of them will be less see-through and their smells will also be different. Some of them even smell like rotten eggs. But this could be also one of the reasons why some people think that they are dirty. However, the things that you see floating in the water are the actual minerals that come up with the waters from the deep ground. So don't be afraid to come into these waters. 99% of the time they will not be dirt. They will be the healthy minerals for your body, and also one of the reasons why you should take a shower after spending some time in these hot medicinal waters. Now, the reason why it's important to know the difference between the medicinal waters and the simple plain old hot thermal waters is because children under the age of 14 are not allowed to enter medicinal waters. And this is because of a regulation, a law that was made by the government for health and safety reasons. And this is also why in places like Széchenyi Thermal Bath in Budapest, you cannot enter with children under the age of 14 anymore. However, the regular thermal water pools can still be enjoyed by kids under the age of 14, and many of these spa resort towns like Zalakaros will have a lot of different pools that are dedicated for kids to have fun in them. now that you know so much about thermal waters and medicinal waters, how do you go and enjoy them at these thermal spa resorts? Well, they are kind of like saunas, because you cannot spend more than 20-30 minutes in a medicinal bath because they're so hot. So you're there 20-30 minutes, then you go outside, rest a little bit, maybe go into the lesser warm regular thermal waters and chill there, but then you go back into the really hot ones, go outside, rinse, repeat. That is what you do all day, and that is how you re-energize and heal your soul. Now, if you want to know more about thermal waters and why Hungary is the thermal bath kingdom, and we covered that topic in more detail in our video about another spa resort town, Vinyard. Go and check that out after this. Now, one of the benefits that we get with our hotel room is that even within the premises of the thermal spa, we get access to a secluded space. Here we have some indoor and some outdoor pools as well. And it's a much more peaceful place because, to be honest, people who have families with lots of kids may not enjoy this secluded space because there aren't many pools which are dedicated to children with slides or any sort of other attraction. But if you are someone who's looking for a more relaxed and chill experience, then this benefit is definitely something you would enjoy. But so what is there to know about the history of Zalakaros? What was in this settlement's past? Well, to be frank, its history isn't really a glorious one. This place used to be called as Karos. Zala at the beginning refers to the region that we are in. There are actually many cities and towns here which bear the name Zala, like Zalaegerszeg, Zalaszentgrót, Zalasabar, and many more. Zalakaros became Zalakaros in modern times, but in medieval times when it was called as Karos, this used to be mostly farmland, and nearby there used to be a castle. They were producing food for the defenders of that castle. However, during the Ottoman times, when the Ottoman Empire invaded Hungary, the border between the occupied territories and what was left of Hungary was just running nearby. So the local villagers had to pay some defense tax to the Hungarian castle, but also the nearby Ottoman castle, which was at that time in a Nagykanizsa. But even after the Ottomans were pushed out and Hungary reclaimed its territory, this place started to grow in terms of population, but then a fire basically abolished the whole village, so it had to also start once again from scratch. So the history of Karos and then later Zalakaros wasn't really a happy one. There wasn't any significant industry and no real tourism that we can speak of until the 1960s. That's when the energy companies started to drill here for oil and gas, but instead of that, they have found the hot thermal waters, and soon after, the first bath has opened, and then the place started to prosper. And today, Zalakaros is actually the 7th most popular place to visit, not just for domestic tourists, but also for international ones. And as you can see, there's a little bit of rain. But that doesn't mean you cannot go into the thermal pools, because there you can enjoy any time of the year this nice thermal water. And now that we have soaked ourselves so much in the hot thermal waters, let's go take the bus and try to find a local vineyard. Because apparently they also grow grapes here and they make wine in this region. May not be famous, but we will try it. Let's go! Zalasabar is about a 20-minute bus ride away from Zalakaros, and our destination, the Kányavári winery, is located on the top of the hills that are right next to the village. We asked for a wine tasting set that included some nice finger food, along with 6 glasses of wine for us to taste and learn more about. The Zala region is not particularly famous for their wine, but as we went through the history of the region and the winery and tasted each drink on offer, it became clear to us that with their passion and dedicated hard work, anything is possible. If you enjoy white wines, they have some very nice and tasty products that we thoroughly enjoyed.
Now that was an amazing experience. The view of the small Balaton, Kis Balaton, is breathtaking. All the wine here was just excellent, and the guy who was guiding us through all the wines that they have was brilliant. Thank you very much for everything that you did. And I know that using the domestic buses here can be maybe overwhelming because it's a complicated system. I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can actually plan your trips and how you can book your tickets. But right now I have about 6 different wines in my head. So I will give... Yes, we need to catch the bus. So let's give back the word to Ákos in the studio of how you can use domestic buses. Bye!
Alright, if you want to use the domestic public transport system here in Hungary, then here are some general overviews and advices. First of all, you should be looking at using a combination of 2 separate apps. One would be Google Maps and the other one is MÁV's website or the MÁV application. Now the reason why I mention Google Maps is that it can give you a more visual representation of your potential routes. And in case you need to make transfers, what is the distance between each station where you need to get off and then get on perhaps to a new vehicle, like taking a train first and then going with a bus. Now the other reason why it's good to use Google Maps is because it will give you the exact station names. Even within one small village there could be multiple stops for buses, for example, which will all have the location's name, but attached to it there may be a street name, a square name, or any other landmark's name. So if you have an exact place where you want to go, it will matter which station you need to get off at. And once you have a better understanding of your route, thanks to Google Maps, that's when you can use MÁV's website, jegy.mav.hu, or the MÁV Plus application to search for your exact routes and buy your tickets over there. And once you bought your tickets, those will be available in a digital way, either via a file on your phone or laptop, or if you log in to the MÁV Plus application, they will be there within the app itself. All you gotta do is when you board the bus, you need to scan your ticket, or on the trains, the train staff will come and they will validate it for you. Now it's also very important to know that when you purchase the tickets on these websites and apps, you should also update your passenger info. You can buy tickets for multiple passengers, but for each passenger you should add the birth date, because depending on the age there are different kinds of discounts available. For example, if people are 65 years or older, they can ride the public transport for free. However, you may need to pay for seat reservations. These will be always automatically updated if the passengers are set up correctly. Now it's also very important to keep in mind that as you go deeper into the countryside, further away from major cities, less and less people will speak English. Chances are the bus drivers or the staff on the trains will not speak English at all. This is why it's important to have something similar on your phone like Google Translate. Even if it's just one simple sentence or a whole conversation that you need to translate, it's always good to have an application like that. Now I hope that you find this information useful, and it also encourages you to go further away from Budapest and see more places here in Hungary. And if you enjoyed the video so far and like the content that we do, then giving us a like really supports the channel. And if you also leave some nice comments about your travels in Hungary or what you're looking forward to, then that will also help us to reach more people on YouTube. But for now, let's get back to Zalakaros. Now that we have stayed in this room for so long, what did we think about staying here at the Park Inn hotel? Well, first I do have to note that this is kind of an expensive hotel. I don't know the exact prices per night, but I will put it up somewhere around me. Nevertheless, what do you get for this price? Well, this room, for example, is pretty basic, nothing luxurious, but I do have to highlight that the bed is nice, big and comfy, and you get tons of space for your luggage and for your clothes as well. Then we also have a big balcony where during the evenings we could sit down, chit-chat,
have some games. But let's talk about some of our little nitpickings here. The TV is kind of a laggy thing, the channels load very slowly, the hairdryer on the max setting it can easily die. On the lower setting it works, but for example, my lovely producer has more hair than I have, and for her to dry her hair it takes ages, to be frank. Now, what about the all-inclusive service that we get here? Basically, you get breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even in between, there's basically always some sort of food. There's just a handful of hours during a day when there is no food at all served, so anytime you're hungry, you can get something to eat. But what is the quality like? For me, the breakfast was outstanding. There's so many different kind of things that you can choose from, and the dinner had some of the best appetizers I have ever seen. And there was always something on the dinner menu that was also outstanding, even if most of the other main courses were not really interesting. That also kind of applies to the full lunch set. We never really saw anything that was really exciting for us, but the food was always okay. We never ate anything bad, to be honest. And of course, with this all-inclusive set, you also get drinks. Basic alcoholic drinks like wine and beer are available throughout the day, and besides that, of course, all kinds of soft drinks are available as well. But of course, the biggest benefit is the direct access to the large thermal spa and access to the secluded space. It was an amazing experience going into the bath. It was really relaxing. If you have a family with lots of kids, you get this big room, and in the thermal spa there are all kinds of activities that the kids can enjoy. But if you're looking for something that's more of a relaxing and calm experience, then that secluded area is just the best. So as a summary, we really enjoyed our time here. Yes, this is a pricey hotel, but if you're willing to pay for the convenience, for the all-inclusive service and the direct access to the baths, then this is a good choice. However, there are many other hotels here in the area. There are apartments, so there are cheaper options as well, and from there you can go to the baths. You just have to buy your daily tickets there, and then you get to enjoy the wonderful thermal bath experience that Zalakaros has to offer. Now, during our holidays, one of the days happens to be August the 20th, which is a public holiday here. This is when we celebrate the founding of the Hungarian state and also our first king, Saint Stephen. This is when we have some fairs, some markets, and also the fireworks, also here at Zalakaros. So let's go and check out some lovely fireworks.
Ferenc 3. Boom, boom, boom. Ferenc 2.
Elemér 8-as.
Nem. Béla 2.
Well, these were some awesome and relaxing times we had here in Zalakaros. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and you got inspired to visit either this spa town or another one in Hungary. And if you want to know what else you can do here in Hungary, then check out some of our other videos. And if you don't want to miss our future content, then definitely subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in all of our other videos. Bye!